Hey, hello. Welcome.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
3 weeks? 3 weeks.
Yeah, okay, 1, 2, 3. Let me test the audio. Welcome.
Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
3 weeks? 3 weeks.
Yeah, okay, 1, 2, 3. Let me test the audio. Already 9 times better than the audio we've been dealing with.
Yep.
For some reason, yours is a little bit quieter than mine, but I don't think it's too bad.
I don't want to mess with it.
Yeah, don't worry. If it stops, it stops. Fuck it, whatever. That's where I'm at today.
Fuck it is the best sentence ever. Just fuck it.
It's a helpful sentence.
Did you know that swearing tricks your mind into making you feel better when you like stub your toe or something?
Maybe it's cathartic.
Yeah, it just helps you.
Here we go, live chat. I've got a set, so if anybody drops in and says hi, we can say hi back.
Okay,
maybe.
Cool.
I don't know. We'll see. So it's been a really long time.
First off, I want to blame that on the confusion. I think you thought I was leaving for the cruise earlier than I was.
I thought you were leaving like the day I got back, and then you were like, no, it's a week from today.
Yeah.
And then I thought you were on a cruise for an entire week, and I didn't say shit. And then that next week, I was like dying of illness.
Really?
I've been sick as shit since I got back from the cruise.
Like just cold, like sick, like cough,
just sick.
Not like influenza.
Yeah. Not influenza,
killing
just
people now in the like masses.
So
the flu, and not in the masses, but a lot more than
I was gonna say
last year.
Well, so if you actually so there's a little bit of research. Philip DeFranco actually did some research on this, and the truth is it's not as it's bad. But it's not like we're in the plague Middle Ages bad. People are like the media's like, we're in the Middle Ages, and everyone's like, you're gonna die. And they're like no, scientists are like, no, it's bad. But if you look at 2015's records, very similar. It's an every 3-year type of trend, apparently, that we get sick. So everyone's like, oh my God, we're all going to die. And no, we're not all going to die. Calm down. But the good news is after this amount of time that we've had, I've been updating the shit out of what we're working with.
Right.
I bought a second microphone. I was like I like your snowball and shit, but I could not do the audio anymore. It makes me infuriated to the core when things go wrong and I can't fix it. So I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm buying a second microphone. I worked a lot. So that week that I thought you were gone, I was working extra hours. Same thing with last week too. So I was like, okay, I can afford $70 extra to put down for a microphone, 75.
Right.
So that's what I did. And so I think it gave us time to sort of work on quality.
Yep.
I think because there was this joke, the running joke in my workplace is I have my shitty podcast because it came up in Cards Against Humanity, and that was their burn card on me, and I was like, oh damn. So I've been referring it to as my shitty podcast because until now the audio's been a nightmare.
Yes.
And then I was streaming the other day, my microphones have been cutting out, and I found out that part of the problem is it reassigns the names for some reason or something. And I was so mad because I bought this new game and I was reading all the dialogue for it. I was having a really good time. My microphone cut out, and then I thought I fixed it, and I was like, oh wow, this is nice. And it turns out it was picking up the audio from my webcam, and it sounded like puke garbage, and it made me physically ill from my fury. And so I'm just glad that I've kind of gotten myself onto an even page. It's just whenever you in the technical field, whenever you fix one problem, you run into more and more. Yeah, and then after a while, you run out of doors, and you're finally at your peak.
It's like when you do it, if a game would do an update, to fix to patch something.
Yeah, and then something
And then
else.
something even bigger. Like
Yeah, and it opens up doors, but eventually you run out of doors, and you get there. I learned that from streaming on Twitch. So like I know that like this may not be the end of problems, but I feel a little more relaxed right now, like getting where we are, because I even ran like tests on the microphones to make sure that everything was going smooth. And then I was like, oh, I'll take the last podcast, which I thought the audio was fine. No, it wasn't. So so I did tests. So then I was like, okay, so I ran it through an MP4 to MP3 video converter program that I found free online, and they tag it. So like every like 3 minutes in the audio, it's like, this is owned by this corporation. I'm like, you sons of bitches! So now I have to find a new program to make that work.
That sucks.
Yeah, it hurts my heart. It does. Makes me so sad. But the good, we're
rolling now.
We're rolling. We're getting there. But I'm like so happy because we've also like scheduling. We've run into hoops. Not just you. I've had some problems too.
Yeah.
But we've like, I thought I've had a rough month, but apparently Darian has had a worse rough month. So let me preface. I'll bring them up to speed on my side of things, so then we can blindside them with your side of things. But like, last we talked, I was going on a cruise. We went on the cruise.
How was that?
I definitely used my drink package. I drank so goddamn much. I like Bloody Marys now.
Did you get your money's worth?
Oh, yeah. I didn't get Grace's money's worth, but I was working on her end, too. Like, I was trying. I was at least 5 to 6 drinks a day. Working on Bloody Marys. I like Bloody Marys now. I like, they have this thing called a Miami Vice, which is a pina colada and a strawberry daiquiri mixed. And I was like, God damn. Bloody Marys, coconut mojitos are my life. They're so good. There was free ice cream on the ship, free food. We did a chef's table where we did a wine and food pairing. And the guy starts off and he's like, I just want you to know, whenever I feel... yeah, Heather, I'm sorry. He's fine. Turn your audio up. I don't know. She's like, you can't hear him barely. Closer. Yeah, maybe bring it in closer. Bring it closer to your mouth. I don't know. Save all issues till the end of the podcast, or put them in the chat box, please. I don't want to know about them right now. It's just nice to be at this point again. Why don't you
talk a little louder? We'll just talk like this. I don't know how much we're catching on.
It's weird. You're like only...
Hello, if I get really close.
Oh, yeah, if you get really close. Bring it right up to your face, because that's when you get to the yellow.
Okay, so
that's
right
good.
Around here. Okay,
yeah, that's
I'll
good.
keep it there.
Okay. So,
I'll risk my back for this podcast.
Do it. Yeah. So I got drunk as hell. Anyways.
That could either be a good night or a bad night, depending on...
It was a mix. So I ate so much food and I drank so much alcohol that I could barely, like, and then the ship was like rocking and I was like, but like, it's, so I did that. The real bummer is...
Can I ask you the question, did you spew?
No, I did not spew.
Nothing.
I've never thrown up after being drunk. I've never really been hungover either.
On a ship, and you can kind of feel things rocking, right?
Yeah. Well, I don't get seasick.
Yeah,
a lot of people do, but I don't.
Add the drunk effect and all the ship food.
I thought I was gonna spew.
It sounds like a disaster.
I was super gassy, but I did not spew. But I don't spew. Like, if I do, it's the worst day ever. I fight it till the end of time. People are like, you'll feel better, and I'm like, go fuck yourself. So I don't spew, but
I don't know if I ever told this story. I was once on a ferry while we were, like, my baseball team went on a ferry ride once, and I ended up looking over the side after eating 3 hot dogs. And as we were going through, the water was turning and it made me sick, but I was like entranced in it, so I couldn't look away. I was like a kid, and I threw up, and I kept throwing up because I was looking at the water. It was an effect that was like I couldn't leave. I couldn't stop looking at the water because I was throwing up. But then
yeah,
it was horrible.
I get sick, or I just don't. I fight it until the end of time. But so that's kind of so yeah. The cruise went really well. I had a good time, and then I gained the 20 pounds back that I've like worked so hard over fall to get rid of between Christmas and this cruise. So I was like, that's upsetting. And then, and so I get back, right? And I'm like, okay, Darian's gone for a week. And then I message him and I see this is what I'm like, I busted him. I didn't really bust you, but I saw you on Snapchat. I'm like, what the hell? So I send you a message like, what? I thought you were back, and you're like, no, I don't leave till next week.
What? Oh yeah, that was the Vikings game. I was going.
Yeah, the Vikings game. That was okay. By the way, that was excellent. We're Packers fans, and we were like, this is because my wife and I are like sitting there going, oh, they need to hang up their hat. Like this is pathetic. You have like 20 seconds, and then he just like tosses that good toss. Yeah. And it wasn't like a Rodgers to Rodgers Hail Mary where it was like sheer luck. Like my wife looks at that as skill. I look at that as like, Rodgers, you're so freaking lucky because, I mean, it was a good toss that he shot that Hail Mary all the way to the end zone. Yeah. But he shot it into the middle where it was like a 50-50 shot of someone's going to catch the ball. And I'm like, like that was crazy. But then the Vikings, he made like a really good, like he just hit it, and then like the receiver did all the work where he did his little like flip jump and like like ran away.
As soon as
that was nuts.
He didn't believe that any of it was going on. Like he threw his helmet onto the field, and he was just like, oh my gosh! I can't believe I just did that.
That was like the top play of the year, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And then we get freaking shot out by the Eagles.
That was unfortunate. That was really. We were rooting.
They made us look like they deserved to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
it was just so bad.
So then like almost a week later goes on, and then I see the Lara Chicken Snapchat. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what the hell? I thought he was on his cruise. And then, like, you got back to me like a day or two later. And you sent me this message. And I just feel like, I feel so bad. But you could, feel free to talk about it.
All right. So we'll start. Everything happened in 1 week. Like, it was 1 week where we okay. So we were supposed to leave the 20th. On January 20th, which was a Friday. We were supposed to leave that Friday. And prior to that day, Monday, a couple of events happened. The dryer broke down in our house, in my parents' house. And my mom was feeling pancreatitis. Her pancreas was hurting. So she went on Monday to the hospital. They said it was pancreatitis. Tonight it should go down. We're going to give you some medicine for the inflammation to go down. They just looked at it and scanned her. They couldn't find anything but some excess fluid, which was causing the pancreatitis or something. And so they sent her home. And then Tuesday, it was either Tuesday night or Wednesday during the day, my mom texted me saying she was going back. She was at St. Jude, and then she was going back because her pancreatitis came back. And when she gets to UICCU, and they do a scan on her because they're like, well, it went away, but it came back. And my mom has had problems because she used to a while back be a smoker. Not for very long, for like 2 years. Basically, while I was going through puberty, she was a smoker. Basically, it was just that time period.
Oh dear.
But she since put it down. So and it's been like 5 years. But she had something going on with her throat where she would get acid reflux constantly every time she would eat. And they blamed it on her smoking. So she wondered if that was an issue. So they scanned her a little deeper, and they found a mast on her pancreas. Thursday, she called me and said, "Hey, Darian, I need you to come to the USCCU. I have something to tell you." And instantly, it hit me. I was like, I knew what she was going to tell me when I got there. Because if it's something that she can't tell me over the phone, that I have to go see her, you know. So Thursday, instantly, I get up, and I'm still at my apartment. And that's a whole another thing, is I was in the process of, I'm currently fully sending in my key today because I moved out of my apartment.
Okay.
But anyways, so there was this whole thing, and so I drive to USC, to the University of Iowa hospital, and I get there, I open the door, and the first thing I see is my dad crying. The second thing I see is my grandpa crying. Two people who mind you, I've seen my dad cry like twice. Once when our dog died, and another time when there was something going on. I can't remember. I was a young kid. And then I've never seen my grandpa cry before. Ever. Not one time. And so I knew something was wrong. And Mom told me. And she said that they found a mass on her pancreas, on her kidneys, and a mass up in her throat and chest region. So it had spread pretty rapidly. And what it is it's two different types of lymphoma. I don't think it's B-cell non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. But the way it's set up is it's B-cell lymphoma up here and B-cell up here, but the one up top is somehow different from the one she has in the bottom. It's somehow mutated a little bit, but it's same. I don't know. And she started chemo, and she got it was just a hard. She became alert. One of the things that she was doing, she had so much fluid in her arms. I'm not kidding. It looked like she had this big of arms. And she's a small person. Her arms are smaller than mine. And at this point, they were bigger than mine because she was retaining so much fluid from the chemicals and stuff. And so she had an allergic reaction, and it was just, the first couple of days was kind of devastating because we had so much hope because they were like, oh, it's lymphoma, which is a more treatable cancer. Of all the cancers she could have had, lymphoma is one of the best. More treatable. And so she was going through all these trial and errors, and it kind of became discouraging. Then she finally started really started chemo, the bad chemo. I air quote that because the way the doctor said there's a good chemo and a bad chemo, which to me they're all bad. It's not good for you. It's really, but it's helpful, but still harmful. And so she's very susceptible right now to getting sick. But she got home Wednesday.
Oh.
Because she couldn't be released until her pancreas wasn't as inflamed. Because it was causing so much pain. And so Monday her pain went away, and then Sunday her pain went away, and Tuesday night or Wednesday morning, I can't remember exactly. It was either really late Tuesday or early Wednesday. She got home, and so everything was okay. But in that process, I was staying at home with the kids, back and forth, driving, to take them to school, to go see my mom. I was in the process of moving out,
right?
Going to my school, had all these things going on. That's why I haven't been talking to you.
Yeah,
because my phone literally, in the last 2 weeks, my phone has been dead more than it's been on. Because I've just been so busy, I haven't been able to charge it very often, and when I do charge it, it's got an issue when it gets below 50%. It quickly jumps down to like 30%, then to 15, then 10, 5. Anyways, so I've been really busy, and like the dryer broke down, and then this last Friday, I don't remember if I talked about it on here, but Allied Universal, which is the company I worked for, for security, they couldn't. They wanted to get the guards raises because every guard there, besides me, was there for a couple of years.
Right.
They wanted to give them all raises, and so they negotiated it with Grinnell Mutual, and I can like talk about this openly.
Okay.
In case anybody's thinking I shouldn't be saying anything, and they weren't able to get an agreement, so they opened it up for bidders for another third-party security company to come in, undercut our Allied's bid, and Permar was that company, which Permar is one of the leading companies in the state of Iowa.
Okay.
And so they undercut it, and then we had I had a meeting with them the Monday my mom was sent to the hospital. I had a meeting with them, with Permar, because they were taking over and they had to get everything situated, and they wanted to talk to me about if I wanted to stay or whatever, and we discussed it, and everything seemed okay. And then Friday, I get in there to turn in my uniform and my badge and everything, and I kept the freaking hat, by the way, because I'm a hat collector, so I just I'm gonna keep this hat. But anyways, and John, which was my boss, he was just the kind of the manager.
Yeah. Your supervisor or whatever.
And he said, "Have you heard anything from Permar?" And I said, "Well, I had that meeting with them, but they never said anything else about it." And he said, "Well, apparently they're keeping 3 guards for training, and all the other guards were being let go." But he never mentioned my name. That was on the list of either one of them. He said him and these other guards were being let go, and then these guards were staying. But that put me as not knowing where I'm at, and I haven't gotten a phone call yet or anything. So I'm just in between having no job and waiting for mowing season to start up, and I'm just luckily I have financial aid coming my way.
Okay, but yeah, that's really helpful.
So it's just kind of a shit show right now.
You're kind of in the limbo from hell.
Yeah.
You're on the helly side of
also,
limbo.
To add to it, my wipers don't work anymore. One of them, I have to just replace them. One of them just the rubber is flying. Well,
the good news is you're sleeping now. Because beforehand you really weren't, were you?
So I spent so long trying to get a sleep schedule going for the midnight to 8 thing. And then one of the guards die, right?
Yeah.
So then I was working midnight to 8 and 8 to 4. And I was picking up another shift from another guard who had a bad knee.
Right.
So I was working midnight to 8, 4 to midnight, and 8 to 4. And going to classes.
So my understanding is you're the young guy, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they choose you as a guard?
I think because I was only there for 4 months. They wanted somebody who was young. Because the 3 people that they kept back are not young in my sense, but compared to the other guards, young.
They're
30, 40 somethings.
So what's really funny is my grandpa was working over at Kinsey doing security.
Yeah.
And he's in his 70s. Mm-hmm. And he got let go and stuff. And it was one of those things where it was it's kind of his age. You know? I mean, they can't say oh, you're old, we're letting you go. Right. But I mean, it was one of those things where I was I hate to say it, but what is my grandpa gonna do? Mm-hmm. I don't know if he's armed though. He might be armed with a taser. Right. My grandpa can aim, so
And we just discussed that I would just get naked and attack somebody.
Yeah, you get naked and just storm them. The thing about it is, though, is like, you're a big dude. Like, I wouldn't.
It's just
if I showed up and like I saw you or an old like imagine the security guards from Night at the Museum. Like, who the hell is gonna not rush Mickey Rooney? But at the same time, if they saw you, I'd be like, I might turn around. Like, I might change my mind because you're taller, you're bigger.
Well, thank you.
All you got to do is look like you can lay a motherfucker out. Like, you're a deterrent. You're not the end all be all solution. It's not like they're hiring SWAT officers and shit.
Here's the deal. When we went to the meetings, only not everybody was called to interview with the new company.
Okay.
It was only the three that are staying, and me. And see, I think it's because I've had such a rough start at that company. Because one day my tire went flat, so I wasn't able to make it to work.
Yeah.
Another time my door froze, so I wasn't able to get into my apartment.
Do you do they know like you'll be moving to Waterloo soon, or?
I told them that.
Okay.
Too. And I said when I had the interview, I think part of it was because I was so upfront with them about everything going on. And the other part was that I had so much stuff on my plate.
Right.
They were like, I don't know. So that's where I'm at, is I don't know.
It's shitty, but also I would give it to them as fair.
That's what I'm thinking is fair.
It's rough.
But I was told that I could like collect unemployment without any battle. Allied said that.
Oh, well, that's oddly nice.
Pull out, we won't fight anything. So,
that's a good,
It was funny they mailed me a retirement plan, though.
Well, I still have, I think I still have some retirement benefits from BGM.
Oh, yeah?
Like they put money away to, I want to say it was like IPERS or something.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I was going to earn a retirement out of there after 90 years of working there, maybe. Because I made, like, $1,400 a year out of it. Like, it was not a substantial amount at all. Right. Like, I was not there for the money. That was for damn sure. Right. It helped. It was nice, but...
Well, in the missed buyers that they have now, I talked to Mr. Radcliffe about it, and... I think she's working out. They're going pretty far.
Yeah, I saw some kids are going to state.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
So that's good. But he said that, once Lara was out of school, I could reintroduce myself and try to maybe do start up a debate team. Which
that'd be a good idea.
Wanting to do. So.
Yeah, I knew Mrs. Byer would be a good choice because she's done it before and she's very serious about it. I was worried about how some of the kids would take her because she was planning. Well, it was funny because some of the kids were upset with me because of how much time I'd put into it and how my scheduling was. That was the other thing is, sometimes I'd run into an issue and say, hey guys, I'm sorry I can't make it. And that happened a few too many times, unfortunately. But she only wanted to put, when I talked to her, she only wants to put a day in a week and then having the kids do more of the work on their own, which was something that I'd always tried to inspire and tell them to do. The more work you put in yourself, the more you get out of it, but it didn't seem always to be the top priority, so that was something I was worried about, but it seems like it's working out really well. So I'm hoping it grows and goes well for her because I was not doing a good enough job, and I knew someone who would be there all the time could do a better job. That was my biggest problem. And I knew it was kind of time to move on. Something changed in me. After my dad had a heart attack, I was my priorities in life shifted.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of how things are right now with my mom. I gotta focus on what matters the most currently, because when I was living here and stuff and doing stuff, it was like I just had a whole bunch of stuff on my plate.
Yeah.
And hopefully now everything will be all focused towards one main goal.
Yeah, that's one thing that, like, I kind of recommend in adulting, I suppose. And one of my teachers said to me a long time ago, is he said, look, you know, when I was talking about working on a project for BGM, or not BGM, for college, I was talking about working on a couple of senior projects. And he said, look, Jared, he goes, you can be okay at a couple of things, or you can be great at one thing. And the thing that he meant about that is like, you can only do so much. You only have 24 hours in a day. Mm-hmm. You can only handle like so many things. So when you put your focus onto one thing, it becomes a lot more clear. And that's my recommendation is like, you know, try and take less off your plate to be able to do more of what you want to do. Exactly. Yeah. And it becomes difficult, you know, I mean,
I'm figuring that out really early.
Yeah. Well, it's adulting. Yeah. But then you have this careful balance of, you know, you still got to pay your bills, but then you got to do what you want to do in life. You got to kind of find, this is why, okay, so this is crazy. I'm going to open up this idea. This is this can of fucking worms, right?
Okay. All right. You have nothing too crazy for me.
So I think in the U.S., one of our biggest problems is we all want to be paid for doing something artistic that we love. So everyone wants to be a fucking singer. Everyone wants to be a YouTuber or a podcaster.
See, I think it seems like that in the realm of where you're at. We're both in the art realm, so we see how many people are.
Yeah, but I mean, look at any audition for The Voice. How many? There's like 30 people all like, I want to be a singer, you know, and I want to get paid for the rest of my life to be a singer. What I think is, and this is almost slightly socialist, and I think it's kind of terrible, but at the same time, I think we all need to find a balance of making money 50% by being productive to the world. So like being a McDonald's employee or a janitor or something like that. And then 50% doing something artistic.
Exactly. Like if you're starting stand up, right?
Yeah.
For the first couple of years, probably you're going to be flipping patties while you're waiting.
Yeah. But then until you're like 60 years old, if you make it, like until you're 60, that's a weird number to, but like until you're dead, like you're happy. But then you're not producing, you're not like a productive member of society. You're just helping people get through their shitty days, which is like productive in its own way. But at the same time, like another way to get through your shitty day is to make your own art and be fulfilled. Uh-huh. So then you find yourself fulfilled. You find yourself. And again, like we can even break it up into thirds, you know, being productive in society, doing something fulfilling, and then ingesting something that helps you get through your day. So like Netflix media content, YouTube, all that shit, you know, something that just ingesting an art form that helps you get through that day, but like still being productive to society. That's what I think is like a big problem is like we have so many jobs now that are computer programming jobs. Uh-huh. And unless it's like programming a robot to build a car or something, 9 times out of 10, like when you're developing an app, you know, you're not being productive to society. Like a dating app does not change too much of the world. Like swipe right can only be done so much.
There are apps out there that have.
Well, like Uber.
Amazon. Uber.
But for every like one of those, there's 10 more apps that have no goddamn point.
Just shit.
Yeah, like how many video games, look at the credits for video games or movies, how many names of people who are doing jobs that are entertaining and I'm sure fulfills them, but does nothing else for society.
Right. So
then I look at that and I'm like, that's kind of funky. Like I wish I could be a video game streamer 1/3 of the time. Be a TV watcher 1/3 of the time, and then be doing burgers or waiting tables at Westside the other 1/3 of the time, which maybe I do, and I don't realize it.
Well, you're automatically, what's the statistic? You're automatically sleeping like 1/3 of your life.
Yeah, I suppose. But it's just, it's one of those things, like, it gets me, every now and then I think about it, and I'm just like, man.
But
Because here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. As much as capitalism is a good idea that works when good people are behind the wheel, so is communism, in a sense. Only when good people are behind the wheel.
Communism.
When you don't have dickbags behind the wheel. You do for the first, like, while that people take the idea, but then eventually an asshole gets behind the wheel and steers it into a train.
Communist setup has ultimately failed and been rebuilt, but has, like, it's just
because some dickbag got behind the wheel.
Exactly. We have not seen, like, true communism actually.
I mean, I think you can make the argument that you have in the first, like, 2 or 3 years, or 2 or 3 decades even.
Sure, I can see it in some areas.
If you look at the beginning era of Russia, maybe.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden Stalin hits, and then shit falls apart.
But even with Stalin, I guess you could bring it through that the first few. I don't know how long. But he wasn't batshit crazy, in his first part of his election. Like,
they say that until the guy, like, until he gets his power, and then he just starts doing shit, and then all of a sudden, like, and then you see the news get a hold of it, and they're like, holy shit, like, he's like, but it's one of those things, like, in capitalism. That's why I think we're in such a rut right now. Is I think capitalism is failing because the dumbasses who are running our country, and I'm not just saying Republicans, I'm saying Democrats, I'm saying the entire political system, jackasses are behind the wheel. You know, like, it worked great for 300 years, but I'm coming around to new ideas if this shit keeps falling apart. You know,
I don't want to see true socialism. I don't want to see it. I think we can fix what we have.
I don't see our political system being repaired.
All right, we gotta look at it. We gotta back it up for a second. We're not a democracy. We're a republic. If you think about true form of government, we're a republic. It's not for the people. True democracy. It's not. You and I. How much say do we have?
Well. So if we're talking about, like, let's break this down. The Electoral College, hot topic right now.
Uh-huh.
Okay? On one side of things, it's great. It represents it, like, it did its job this time. It really did. It represented what the people wanted. Maybe not popular vote wise, but it represented the majority of states.
Right.
Okay? But with the Electoral College, my vote didn't count.
Exactly.
And that pisses me off.
And okay,
I get its purpose. Pisses me off. My vote doesn't count. But then that feeds into your idea of it being a republic. It's not. It's no longer for the people.
Do you want to? Can we dive down deep for a second?
How far deep do we want to go down this rabbit hole?
It's gonna sound. It's not gonna sound.
Oh God!
Crazy. It's not gonna be crazy.
Okay.
It's common thought that is crazy amongst those who haven't thought about it before. You know.
Okay.
So. Okay, my whole theory is, I just stated this is not a democratic, like
we're a republic.
And my whole theory is, how much does the government do that we don't know they do? How much?
I mean, there's a lot that they're not even supposed to tell us.
And we're okay. Yeah. Right now, we just opened up a. We're trying to amend the Constitution. We think that we're gonna try to have states vote to lower federal power, and have states have more power. The state and local governments have more power, or equality. They think that the federal government is too powerful right now, which would bring us more into democracy, better democracy. But I don't want to get too crazy. I don't want to get too deep into this. But really, if you think about it, how much do we know? How much, like, that they do? We don't. It could all be a lie.
Could all be a lie. The whole thing.
That's really.
Donald Trump is a hologram 2018.
Okay, I'm not putting that out there, but could Donald Trump be this side, like he's a distraction?
Well, he's
a fucking tornado.
He knows how to distract. Like, that's his job. Like, so anytime he is fucked up in the entire presidency so far, almost immediately he has been able to point towards some other goddamn disaster within seconds.
Right.
Like, sometimes it seems like that disaster existed and everyone knew about it until he needed to be able to point to it.
Look at the Hawaii missile alert thing.
That thing keeps coming back too. But it's weird how much that story's changed like 5 times.
Is that did that person who sent out that, did they know they were sending that out as a distraction? Was it a distraction for something? You know, like, or was it just some guy who just accidentally hit some button? What happened?
So the initial story was, and this is interesting because my sister has family or not family. We're her family. She has friends who live in Hawaii, right? She just moved from Hawaii. She's here for a month and a half, and then she moves to South Korea. So she's in Hawaii. Her friends were talking to her about that whole thing, and they legitimately thought they were going to die. Like, one of her friends went to her bathroom and was just like, this is it. You know.
Everybody did.
Uh-huh.
As soon as it was sent, it was sent to Twitter and everything.
Yeah.
We were all like...
So the initial story of this guy, they thought they were going to be dead in 10 minutes. It's one thing to think like, okay, nuclear war is going to set in on us. Eventually we will die. It's another to be like, you're going to be dead in 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, just getting a message like, you're probably going to be dead in 10 minutes. So this guy, what happened, so the initial story was he has this test program and there's a drop down window to run the test program and there's test and then down below it there's the, like, literally just the next tab is the button to send out the warning.
That is the dumbest design flaw ever.
And that's what everyone's commentary was. And then there was no backup. Like, he had to get superiors in to come and shut that off. Because he couldn't shut it off himself.
Okay, if it is this big of a thing, how do you have one fucking person that can screw it all up?
So that's the initial. Well, that was the initial thing, and that was the initial criticism. And then the people in charge were like, okay, so from now on, we're gonna have a thing to where he can shut that off, and we're not gonna fire him. He's a good employee, we promise. And we're also going to add like some tabs between that so then it's just not one click. Oops.
It shouldn't even be
so they were going to do that, right? Yeah, so they were going to fix that, right? That was the initial story. The latest story is that what happened was on the base they put out a drill that says test, test, test. This is just a test. And then it goes through the entire warning process of the missile attack, and then at the end it says this is not a drill, even though it says at the beginning test, 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 this is just a drill. Because it's the entire process, they have to add this is not a drill. He did not hear test, test, test. He heard at the end this is not a drill, and he hit that fucking button. He was like, oh god. So apparently he wasn't listening the whole time, and then they fired him saying this is not the first time he's fucked up that many times. So their initial story was this weird elaborate thing about Windows, and it wasn't this guy's fault. He's perfectly fine. We don't need to fire him. And now he's fired, and he's an asshole, and he doesn't listen well enough to warnings and tests.
So when the story changes that much, can you believe this story at all?
Yeah, I don't know. Now you're like, I don't know what's going on.
There's theories out there that there was a missile and that it was shot down. Like,
maybe the Star Wars program still exists, or actually exists. Not still. Like, it supposedly never existed, but I would love for it to exist.
Am I not?
I would feel super. There we go. Yeah, you gotta get right up in there. I would almost like half yell. Like, I'm half yelling right now. I don't even give a fuck. I got my performance voice on.
I always thought that my natural voice was just loud because, well,
Yeah.
Everybody would tell me to shut the fuck up when we were talking. Be like out in public and be talking. I thought I was being quiet.
Well, so what's funny is I, that's how I've been growing up, right? And then I've got my performance voice that I put on, like when I'm doing theater and shit. And what's so funny is like I went out. Okay, oh, this is a fun story. So I took work off on Monday. I didn't have a day off the week before. Things happen at work. Not bad. Like, there were bad things for some people, not bad for me, but I took on extra hours. I didn't get a day off. And then I worked extra hours like Tuesday and stuff like that. So then Monday comes around and I'm like, fuck the world. I'm in the mood for Chinese food. And my sister's like, oh, I'm going to come with you. We'll have a sibling hangout day. And I'm like, cool. So we go to Chong Garden. They're closed on Mondays.
Right.
Shit bags. And then I'm like, okay, this is my dream because I want to go to Panda Garden because China Sea's closed. So I'm like,
okay, first of all, was China Sea any good?
Everyone says no, but I love China Sea.
I always heard it was horrible.
All these people exaggerate how awful their buffet doesn't always look great, but if you go at the wrong time when no one else is going to be there, yeah, their buffet is going to look like shit because it's all dried out food that nobody's touched,
right.
And they don't want to waste money.
Right.
And then you notice if you sit there for a little bit, then they just start filling it with fresh shit because they know someone's there. But so anyway, I was gonna go to Panda Garden, and then I look at their hours, and they actually closed at 2, and it was like 1, so it would have been a half-hour drive.
They open up, they close for a little bit, and they reopen for supper.
Yeah, but I wanted to go for lunch.
Oh, yeah. So I want to be there like.
And so I would have been only there for like a half an hour before they would have shut the doors, and that was not gonna work. So I was all pissed off, and I got Chinese food on, so I got Mexican food with my sister, and then we went on Wednesday as a whole family. Her, all of her kids, her husband, me. We all went to Panda Garden, which felt nice because then I looked normal at a Chinese buffet, not just that fat guy by himself. So I was like, it's time. And my sister is like looking at my nephew because my nephew is just like, blah, 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 blah. And my sister's like, you were at a restaurant. Like, you need to be quiet. And he's like, what? And I was like, I saw myself in that moment because I was just loud. Like, I remember 7th grade, my teacher looked at me and said, she's like, hey, you're loud. You should do theater with us. And I was like, okay. And that's why I'm into theater, is because 7th grade, I was loud. Weird
is Miss Rebarger, the old speech coach, said the exact same thing to me.
Right? So some of you guys may not know this, but the story of how I met Darian was that, like, I got to see him his freshman year.
Can we tell this story, like How I Met Your Mother's story, and you go way back, like 10 years?
I'll go back to, like, what got me there.
Whole 7-8 series out of this.
That's not going to happen, but...
Season podcast.
So, to start, my cousins were in improv, and I was going to school for theater. Yeah, and then so I was kind of like Cody, because I coached improv at Grinnell before that. But I was kind of like Cody, and my cousins were like, hey, the speech teacher said it's totally cool if you come and, like, watch us do improv and tell us. And I was like, cool. So I showed up, and, like, my cousin's doing it. I was like, ha, ha, ha. And then some other kids doing it. And they're like, ha, ha, ha. And this fucking weird kid comes up, and he starts talking about licking toe jam. And all the other kids are like, they were like freaked the fuck out. They were like, and the speech coach was like, so maybe we don't talk about licking toe jam.
Wait, who was the kid?
And then they're like, what's your commentary? And I'm like, you fucking lick that toe jam. I'm like, and you do it more and more. It was you.
It was me?
Yeah.
I said that?
You were
I
like...
was thinking, was it either me or Dylan?
You were talking about licking... No, so... No, this is before Dylan. Dylan didn't start until I started actually coaching. So it was you, day one. Like, you were... And you were, like, weirding them out. And I'm like, this is the best kid in the room. I said it. And they're like...
Oh, shit. I remember that scene now.
And even the speech coach was like, maybe let's not talk about licking toe jam. And I'm like, no, 100% lick that toe jam. Go for it.
I remember when
Hit it.
Got my leg. I cut my leg off, and I was like instantly. I was like, fuck! And I was like screaming at it, and then I started poking. I was like poking at it, and I was like, ooh, play with this. And Miss Rebarger was like, she was laughing, but she was like,
right.
Every scene I ever did, I always saw her kind of cringe just a little bit.
So that's important, is to make people uncomfortable. It's a good thing when it comes to improv. It's if you give someone a strong emotion, go with it. If you can make someone cry, make someone cry. If you can make someone laugh hysterically, make someone laugh hysterically. But if you can make someone uncomfortable, I mean, that's just as memorable. You know, you have to like, and that's what people don't understand about the arts sometimes. Like, that's the avant-garde movement too. They want to make people feel all sorts of weird shit.
Story, real quick.
Sure.
One of I call him my mentor for, like, before you were involved.
Right.
I had Miss Rebarger as a teacher, but this kid I looked up to, his name was Atticus. And, hi, Atticus, if you listen to this. I think
his name is Atticus?
Atticus Stefan.
That's dope as shit.
So, shout out
I'm down
Atticus
for Atticus.
And Calvin, by the way. He's his brother, and he's funny as shit. Anyways, Atticus was, like... he always was this guy. He came up to me one time and he goes, just so you know, if a scene calls for me to kiss you, I'm going to kiss you.
Oh, God.
And I was like, okay, fucking theater. I guess that's how it works here.
Okay.
And I was like, all right. He sat me down and he goes, here's how deep I go into this shit. And this is why I started like really sticking to my guns, is because I heard him talk about this. He had a full scene with this kid where all they did was straight up lay down and talk, laying down on stage. They did nothing. All they wanted to do was make the audience and the judges as uncomfortable as possible.
It's clever. That's really clever.
They went on because the judge loved it, because he was just sitting back cringing so much because he kept thinking in his mind that he just wanted them to just fucking stand up and do something. But they did nothing but lay there and talk about whatever the scene. I can't remember. I think it was like about to be ran over by a train, and like the train come at the end. They were screaming and everything.
That's so clever. I'm going to just do a quick aside real quick. I want to apologize to my sister real quick. I was a dick at the beginning, wasn't I, with the sound thing? I was like, go, just turn it up. Just turn it up. Sorry, I've been thinking about that for a little bit. With you, like, in the microphone, I just told her to turn her phone up. I was like, I was a dick. I'm sorry. I hope she still watches this. I'll let her know this part's in here, too. But I was, like, thinking about that. I was like, God damn it. I'm so frustrated with technical issues that I'm cranky. And I'm cranky anyways because I stayed up late last night watching some guy play video games. Like, I was watching someone else on Twitch.
I was gonna say that. What you were talking about, my sleep schedule.
Yeah.
I fought so hard to get into a sleep schedule. Then that shit with the God happened, so I got like into a weird one. So I went to bed at like 5 a.m. this morning and got up at like 10:30. But I was like okay with it, cause your body is like at that point where it's like, fuck it, whatever. Yeah.
You still have to do shit. You still got to go eat.
Red Bull and Monster gets me through everything.
Oh my God. You're going to be like one of those 15-year-olds that have a heart attack playing Twitch all night.
Meat.
Meat.
If I need energy, I eat meat. Don't go for carbs. Because here's one thing that carbs do is I'm not saying don't have carbs ever, but if you need energy boost, people always think about loading up on carbs, but in the end, you're gonna be like feeling sluggish. It's gonna help you for a little bit, but right, if you eat a bunch, if you go to Pizza Ranch, how do you feel after you eat Pizza Ranch? You eat a bunch of it, you feel kind of tired and slow. If you eat meat, big red steak, it's gonna feel good.
I have a rule with Pizza Ranch. You don't mix the chicken and the pizza.
What do you mean mix?
Like, if you either go there and you either eat chicken or you eat pizza, but you do not eat chicken and pizza. Because if you eat chicken and pizza, like, I'm not kidding, I've ran people out of houses with the gas that has been produced from my body. It's like, and it makes me feel horrible too. I get the meat sweats and then the carb like it's bad.
Chicken is really high in tryptophan, which is responsible for making you fall asleep.
That's like turkey, right? Turkey's got that too.
Higher than chicken is.
Yeah,
but like
so that's why I always have the rumor on Thanksgiving about.
Yeah, it's because of the tryptophan, and that makes you just want to fall asleep. And so, and then you have that carb overload, and all that. Because sauce is sweet, which it's like sugary kind of, and Pizza Ranch is just, food is amazing, and it just has so many downsides to it as well. And
sorry, I'm telling my sister I'm sorry. So tryptophan, bad for you. No, makes you sleepy. Not bad for you.
Bad for you. There's good properties to it too, but it makes you sleepy. And that's why Pizza Ranch is one of those. It went from like every weekend activity to I realize I'm getting fat, and now to like once a month maybe. Just like Panda Garden. Panda Garden is a freaking pleasant experience though.
Oh, their crab rangoon is the shit. Yeah. It's so good.
Like the only comment I have is their hard-boiled eggs are always a little overdone or underdone. And I just think that, like, okay, eggs, I remember working at the deli and getting hard-boiled eggs down was a process. Like, we had it, and then Todd wanted to change it, and then I wanted to change it, and then you wanted to change it.
Fuck hard-boiled eggs. That's all I can say.
It was like we went from boiling it to Todd boiling it at home to us doing it in the microwave. And
yeah,
the deli has been the sole responsibility for, like, the sole cause for a lot of my stress in life.
Yes. Oh my God. I'm so happy I don't work there anymore.
See, here's the deal.
So I loved the hours. I loved making sandwiches. Okay? The rest of the shit can go out the window.
I loved working there when it was you and I.
Yeah, you and I were like
figuring shit out, and we were like both headstrong and making this a beautiful place.
Do you remember the fucking pulled pork
carnitas
sandwich melt that we made with the tomatoes?
Oh yes. And the
Jesus criminally. This is why I want to make a sandwich shop called Grilled Cheesus.
All right, hold up. I want to buy. I'm going to you and I. All right, don't judge me on this. But this upcoming year, I'm taking a year off so I can get a full-time job, work full-time, and Laura, she's gonna make me go back to school.
Sure. Yeah.
I'm going for a business degree with a minor in culinary, okay? So I can open up a restaurant. I need a degree. All I want to do is open a restaurant. Like, that's been my main goal for years and years, is to open a restaurant. And there's so many places that are selling around here.
Well, so I went through the process of... I started the process of trying to buy Michael's. And it just didn't go well. The biggest problem that I have is that they want all the money up front. They want you to buy the entire business. If you know anything about banks, they will loan you for what they call the building loan. And they'll give you a loan for all of the equipment, and they'll give you a loan for the building and what it's worth. Mm-hmm. However, they will not give you money for what they call the blue sky portion, that is the business itself.
Right.
They will also only loan you the money of what they think the building is worth, not what the people want to sell their building for. Mm-hmm. So the only way to really buy this business is to have the money on hand. And to have the money on hand, why would you be buying that business anyways. Like, because that's like a family-run business. Like, you have to run it yourself.
Right.
Same thing with the deli. You have to run that deli yourself. Todd and Shannon have to run that themselves. They didn't have money for a manager to do that. They paid me as long as they could, and then they couldn't do it anymore. That was the realistic thing. If I owned that deli myself, it would have been successful. Right off the bat, it all would have been fine.
Yeah.
But I don't. So that was kind of the frustrating thing about Michael's, was they wanted me to have the money, and I'm like, I don't have all the money. Like, you have to help me out with the Blue Sky portion and let me pay you over time. And they're like, no. And unfortunately, like, Michael passed away. So it's just Shar who owns the business, and it's kind of tough for her. That's kind of her sanity right now. I want businesses in this town to succeed, but I think this town has a bad problem with how to make that work. Because first of all, our property value, I was laughing so hard. I saw this video the other day talking about how wonderful Grinnell is, and they're like, our property, but all like the cost of living and property values are so low, and it's like, no, it's fucking not.
It's not.
It's not low.
Especially with the Grinnell College. It's definitely. And Grinnell College, have you noticed how much they're buying up?
Yeah, they're buying a lot of things to try and add more stores and shit.
Which will eventually make prices go up even more. I
just personally, I think, like, whenever it comes to, like, especially property taxes, Jesus. My sister found, like, a home that's worth the amount of her home that's worth in Hawaii. She found a home here that's like $500,000.
Yeah.
Why? We're not Hawaii. It's cold here. We're not worth that much. It's a struggle.
Lake fees, Holiday Lake, are crazy too.
So I don't know.
Just because it's a lake,
and I get frustrated. I want businesses to succeed. I wish it was easier for people to be able to start a business. It's not. It's hard.
See, as me, 20 years old, I will not get a loan. There's no way I can.
You actually have a lot higher of a chance of getting a loan than I do. But my credit sucks balls. So
does mine, though, because I'm $16,000 right now in debt just for my AA degree.
16,000. I only had like 4,000 at the end of mine.
I have 16,000.
Wow.
I took out the max I could take out, though.
Yeah, so did I.
Trade. But I don't know. Mine could have been. I could have been awarded. You went to school before, like a couple of years before I did.
Yeah.
The system has changed.
I wonder if, because they did add that new add-on. I wonder if they're having to pay for part of that.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing. Like, colleges, like, the things that you're paying for. Like, I found out, like, a lot of, like, higher-end schools like Iowa or Iowa State, a percentage of your tuition pays for football.
I'm taking 5 classes, and this semester's tuition, I'm just going to say it, is $3,000.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
but my first year there with 4 classes was like 15, like just shy of $2,000. That's how much it inflated since my first year there. It was just crazy. Anyways, what you were gonna say?
I don't know anymore. I went on a rant. I needed to rant.
Okay, Grinnell. We'll talk about this. Grinnell has 34 restaurants in this town. They're considering Casey's and Come and Go, though, those side store kind of deals.
Do they consider Casey's once or Casey's all of them?
All of them.
Because, like, I would consider Casey's once, and I would consider Come and Go once.
See, no, what they're considering is Casey's, Come and Go.
Yeah, that shouldn't count. There's 4 Casey's, there's 2 Come and Go's.
4 Casey's.
Yeah, they added one out by the interstate.
Yeah. 1, 2.
There's one, then 3, there's 4. One down 6.
You're right.
Then there's 2 on each end of 6. Yeah. So there's a lot of Casey's in this town.
Yeah. But yeah, so 34 restaurants in this town. And this town does not have the population to show 34 restaurants. We have more restaurants than we need here.
Yeah.
If you think about it, because what they consider, because everything now has like a McNally's is considered a restaurant. You know,
That's fair though.
Considered a restaurant.
That's also fair. It's really funny because I was out at Hy-Vee and I had breakfast there, and breakfast is very okay. You know, like I eat at Westside, so or like I work at Westside, so like we have a higher standard of breakfast, and I go out to Hy-Vee and it's very like okay, and that's where all the old farmers go to shoot shit.
They do have one that you got to get the country fried steak skillet.
Oh, so I got like a skillet because I wanted hash browns, like an Ultimate Supreme skillet, and I got like ham and green peppers and shit, and that's what I like. But it's just their hash browns are okay. Like it's just like I like a nice crispy hash brown.
They changed the recipe too, and okay, I'm not a toast person. I don't know about you, but when I get toast, like I just want a bit of toast, my side of toast.
You don't want like a hulking toast.
See, at Hy-Vee, their toast is like this thick.
They gave me, what's funny is, so they got me that breakfast and then I had that toast, but they didn't even offer me a drink.
No?
So like I bought this breakfast, no drink, and I was like so fucking annoyed. I just choked down my breakfast without.
You would think a drink would come with it.
Yeah.
Here's the deal. Can I tell you some shit?
It doesn't matter if a drink comes with it. Offer a drink then if not. If you're a fucking like cashier, upsell. Offer a drink.
But
why is that fucker not adding me a drink? What is going on? I need to calm down my language.
Since I don't work there, and nor do I plan on working there again.
Yeah, talk your shit.
I'm gonna spew some shit.
Okay.
The higher ups float just the restaurant, the Hickory House.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Everything else, every other department is up in prices. Like they're not. They're up in profit. We get floated on average about $3,000 a month from corporate.
Okay.
Because we're usually negative at least $3,000.
What's the point?
What's the point?
Yeah. Why? Then why do they do that? They
have to have a restaurant there. They have to have that.
Why?
It's just.
I know they've already spent so much money on equipment and shit, but what's the point?
Every Hy-Vee has a kitchen in some way or another. Everyone does.
Like your bakeries are dope.
Now here's the deal. You know the bakery, Heather at the bakery?
Yeah.
Is like one of the best bakers in the state of Iowa. She's won competitions. Is literally.
So you know who's my jam at the bakery? I love Verla.
Verla.
She's my lady.
Person, yeah.
She's so wonderful. Ever since I worked at the deli there, Verla's been the sweetest person. Everyone else has kind of looked at me because I was the pain in the ass when I was working at the deli. I'd be like, can you make me sourdough? And they're like, we don't have a sourdough recipe. And I'm like, I need some sourdough, and they're like, all right.
Yeah, Ryan probably worked with you on that, though.
Oh, no, it was a lady.
Oh.
There's only women there when I was...
Sharon.
Yeah, probably Sharon.
But
Verla was like, hey, honey, how you doing? I'm like, Verla! What's up?
Yeah, she was great. And she would always, like, make extra cookie, like 2-minute cookies, and she'd bring it over. Or, like, give us, like... She would do that for people, though. It wasn't a big deal. And then she, but once Hy-Vee becomes fully, the process is going to be automated for all of their, like, sandwiches and subs and pizzas. It's all going to be shipped over. So we're no longer going to make it, like, fresh behind the counter. I've put 4 years of my life into that company. I just kind of call myself Hy-Vee now. Like
That's fine.
I'm the Hy-Vee guy.
I still find myself like referring to myself as a deli employee,
right?
Even though I'm not.
But
like that was such a big part of my identity.
Yeah, it's just
or gamers.
Once all that goes away, once we start getting everything shipped in, but hotcakes and breakfast food, I can't see the kitchen being there because they won't need it anymore. Because all they need it for is the Deluso and stuff, which is the salads, the subs, the pizzas, and stuff like that. I mean, so I don't know.
It's interesting though that they get like the old farmers. That's where they go.
Oh yeah, for coffee every morning.
Yeah, they go for coffee. They have a good base of customers that go there. Like it's not like
today,
a place that exists for no reason.
we could go take a trip there tomorrow morning, and we could stand by the counter and I could tell you exactly what every single one of those people are going to order. Every single one of them.
That's fair.
Up to a point, I could tell you what they're all going to order. Because we would see these same people every day. We at one point in time had one guy come in for tenderloin every Tenderloin Tuesday. You have to leave, don't you?
No, at 4th, we were gonna stop at 4:30.
Okay.
If that's okay with you.
Every Tenderloin Tuesday.
I just keep an eye on the time so that I know we're good.
It was, I don't know, I don't remember what the deal was. You get like 2 tenderloins for like $7 or something like that. Which, for our tenderloin,
I just imagine as like one person eating 2 tenderloins, and I'm like, stop! Don't do that.
have you seen our tenderloins?
They're probably huge. Yeah.
They're on steroids. Anyways, he would come in, and he came in after 7 o'clock, which we closed at 7 o'clock. He came in at like 7:15. All of our equipment was off. But technically, while we're still there, Hy-Vee policy says that we still have to serve people if we're still there and the lights aren't off. So everything was off, but we were still behind the counter and lights were on, so it looked like we were open still. Guy comes in, orders, says, I'll be back. He orders 2 tenderloins. We had to turn on the fryer. Do you deal with fryers at Westside? Do you know how long it takes to heat up?
I mean, at least 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh, ours takes a half hour, or it did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we don't take that long, but ours has like it's like we turn it on the flame,
Yeah.
and you have to actually like dodge because people have told me they've like burned their eyebrows off.
Wait, there's a flame for your fryer?
Yeah,
Your
we have a
oil
gas
fryer.
Yeah, we have a gas fryer. You go, and then you dodge because it tries to burn your eyebrows off. You're like, ah.
Different. It's heating. We have heating elements.
Yeah, that's probably why it
that
takes like a
heats,
half an hour.
but-
Like heating elements, like electric takes a lot longer than straight up open flame.
Right, and so it took so long. And I told the guy, I was like, we're closed. You're ordering 2 tenderloins. It's going to take us half an hour to get them turned on, the fryer, and then it's going to take us another, because we had to make up a whole nother batch of tenderloin then, pound it out, bread it, because it was sold out. Said, you're looking at an hour. Automatically, he was pissed. He was like, oh, no, never come here again. I'm like, sir.
Please don't.
You're past the time of ordering.
Please don't come back. Yeah.
And he orders, comes back in an hour, gets his sandwich, because it was Tenderloin fucking Tuesday, and he had to have his fucking tenderloin. Comes back and throws the packet, the take-home thing at me. Says, your fucking tenderloin was raw. I opened it. There was nothing wrong with it. There was this much. There was a bite left of tenderloin. The other, he ordered 2. One for himself and one for his wife. One was gone, and there was this much left of the other one. He said, I want my goddamn money back.
I'd be like, enjoy your E. coli and go to
at
hell.
It, and I showed the manager. I was like, this is what he's saying is raw. He wants his money back. He goes, manager goes, well, that's clearly not raw. But then there was some complication that it was an hour they had to wait and everything. And I told the guy, I was like, it's going to take you an hour. It's going to be an hour because it's going to take half an hour to make everything, half an hour to cook it, and everything, all this process. And you're going to come back and demand your money back for something that you ate completely.
This is what's so shitty about the customer is always right routine.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain points where, like, I feel like there's a line that if people cross, and if we could be able to define or articulate that line, it would be wonderful, but we can't. But if we could learn, like, how to, like, articulate that line, then we could just, like, get the fuck out of my restaurant, you know, or out of my store. No, and it's troublesome because it's, like, corporate, you know, and with corporate level stuff, it's all politics, and they're not going to be able to know because they weren't there. So then they're like, oh, I don't know what word to take, so the customer's always right. But the truth is like a guy like that needs to be thrown out on his ass. Like, you need to just straight up be able to look at that man and just say, don't fucking come back.
There was a guy who...
and maybe the line articulated is the moment that he threw something at you. Like, that's when I, as a manager, would have been like, don't come back.
Right.
You assaulted one of my employees. Well, my food took an hour. You assaulted one of my employees. Now, before I assault you, get out.
Right. There was another guy who came in, and I watched the process go down. And this is, okay, the situation was we had a produce, so we had the boss, like the guy the store director, and then the guy below him. He's fired. Well, he's not fired now, but he has his own drugstore, a Hy-Vee drugstore he's watching over.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, whoever's watching this, but he was a fucking ass. An asshole. Like, he came in one day, in the morning, 7 in the morning, told the girl that was opening to stop everything what she was doing to fill up a salad spot. Because there was a salad spot that was empty. You know, like if you go there and the shelf has a hole or something.
Yeah. She
said, okay, you got to fill these salads. Well, she's the breakfast cook, and then I was like flipping stuff, flipping salads. I come in, and everybody's like, there was her and another girl, and then I would come in. They were both crying because he was over there saying, "You guys are fucking worthless." He gets transferred anyway. So while he was manager there, okay, this one guy comes in, this customer comes in. He asked for this specific item, like salmon. And we don't carry salmon. We have the right to not carry certain items depending on our location. Well, we're in fucking Grinnell, Iowa.
So, yeah, salmon's going to be, like, you're not even going to want to pay money for salmon.
Yeah, because you can't pay money for salmon if it's not a hot commodity.
Or it's going to be too much.
Right. Anyways.
Because we have, like, high-priced salmon at Westside, but it's not like...
Salmon was on sale in other certain locations, and we didn't have it. And one of the girls was like, we don't have this salmon. You can go to Marshalltown?
Probably.
Maybe Marshalltown or Des Moines.
Honestly, probably Newton. Well, Newton has a big Hy-Vee. They have a Starbucks.
Or Newton. And he was royally pissed. He was like, you guys, you're doing a sale and you don't even have the item. And she points out to him, okay, sir, here's the fine print that you have to always look at whenever you have a coupon. Like, you got to look at the fine print. You got to know if you can buy 2 of the item or whatever. You know what I'm saying, though? Like, you laughing, but you know what I'm saying.
It's like, those are the people that you just go, I'm sorry. And then you just stare at them until they leave.
Straight up, looked at her and goes, you're a fucking cunt. I hope you get fired today. Oh. And he broke her down to where she was crying. And I was like, sir, what you just said, I heard it. I was like flipping the case or whatever. I heard it. And I was like, what did you just say to her? And he goes, you're a douchebag. All of you guys deserve to get fired. He was going off. I go, okay, you can leave. And at this point, the manager was coming down and he was like, no, actually, he points at me and he's like, you're in the wrong here. He's looked at the customer and he's like, I apologize for everything.
Oh my God.
Be our loyal customer and everything. And me and her were sitting here like, you're not gonna ban him for fucking life. She just called her a cunt.
Yeah.
Like, that's not okay.
There are just people out there. They just don't deserve to breathe air. It's not that. It's that some people have shitty lives, and then they go to some customer service place and take it out on the poor fucking person who has to serve you. Look, people out there in the world, okay? I'm going to say this to you, okay? If your life sucks, okay, either you take it out on yourself or whoever's responsible. But if you are happening to go out and pick up salmon and that place doesn't have salmon and you take it out on the poor little girl or guy who has to check you out, who has to deal with your miserable ass. Because when people are miserable, you have to be dealt with. And if you can't fake a smile or just say, okay, well that sucks, and then go kick your car or something later on.
By the way, I love this theory from you because I know that we both have like this common.
just understand that you're taking it out on the wrong fucking person, and that Jesus will get his karma on your ass.
Or if you ordered all you can eat shrimp and your shrimp didn't get to you fast enough, by the time you got out of your other shrimp, don't take it out on the waiter.
Do they have all? Who has all you can eat shrimp?
Oh, I was actually at at Outback had all you can eat shrimp.
I'm sorry. We just went from rant mode to me being I want shrimp.
I don't know if a promotion is going on still. You can look
I
it up.
keep seeing these advertisements. So I went to Bubba Gump Shrimp.
Yeah.
And they don't even have an all-you-can-eat shrimp. And I looked at that waitress. I was like, I want as much fucking shrimp as you can give me. And she was like, just order this. And I'm like, okay. I said, is it a lot of shrimp? She's like, it's a lot of shrimp. But it's all breaded. I want, like, cooked in butter, just shrimp.
Yeah.
But all you can eat. And I want to go to town for hours.
Like shrimp scampi.
Yeah. I want shrimp
butter.
so bad.
Yeah,
but I'll
dude.
tell you what, if I'm having a shitty, horrible day, like no matter how bad it is, and I go there and I'm like, I want all you can eat shrimp, and they're like, we don't have all you can eat shrimp. The worst they're gonna get out of me is just like a pouty face, like, well, that sucks.
Here's
like,
the
do
deal.
you want anything? No, I'll
I'm-
take some dessert.
I'm always, when I get a waiter or waitress and they're like maybe down or something, or no matter what, I'm always really nice to my waiter or waitress.
Did you ever meet that lady at Come and Go that was like ridiculously friendly?
Okay, is she an employee now?
Not now. This was like 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
She was the friendliest woman in the world. That's who I try to be all the time,
Right?
especially dealing with people. I'm like,
always
okay.
trying to smile.
Like I'm at Casey's, like, you know, they're like, oh, how you doing? I'm like, great. I'm awesome. I'm doing
How
good.
are you?
How are you? I go, how you doing? And it's like, I have a loaded response. So I get anxiety over like dealing with social situations sometimes, in the sense of like how to like say something not awkwardly. So I'll be like, how are you? And I have it loaded. So if they're like, awesome. Or if they say, good, how are you? I have the same response. Awesome. Because if they say awesome and then I say awesome, it's like I'm saying it's awesome that you're awesome. Or if they say how you're doing, it's like I'm saying I'm awesome. So then this is how much time I put into like my customer service / just being outside voice, is to just load my responses.
See, I always try to like make people laugh.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, when I'm doing customer service, I say things to try and like, and I've been told like it really helps. So like waffle fries are $1 more. When people are like, I don't like French fries, they're like, would you like waffle fries? Waffle fries are $1 extra, but they're $1 more delicious. Boom, gets a laugh every time.
at Hy-Vee,
Even gets an awkward like, ha ha ha. And then I have to go away. But
that's funny. At Hy-Vee, we had a no tip policy. Remember this whole?
Yeah, we talked about this. Apparently that's what the whole thing was with you. Tips were bad at Hy-Vee.
How many tips people have given me over my time at Hy-Vee? $107 is what I could have made in tips, which isn't a substantial amount until you think about the fact that I had to give it to the front desk, like not the front desk, but the front up front. I had to give it to them. Like,
I wonder if it's illegal. So like, here's another dumb thing: is like at the movie theater, so they pay you like they pay you like $6.30 there at the movie theater, until you become like an adult. So when I started there, I was making like $6.30, and I was like, why don't we take tips? And they're like, we're not allowed to take tips. I was like, why aren't we allowed to take tips? So there's something to do with the fact that they're high school students, and it is a food service job. So it's like they're able to take tips, but for some reason that loophole makes it illegal for them to take tips.
But
what the fuck?
waiters and waitresses are high school students taking tips in the same scenario.
Yeah, I know. Well, and that's why they're able to pay I get paid like $4 something on the floor, but after the end of my shift, it's anywhere from $9 to $20 an hour when I'm working as a waiter. Like, it's never been lower than $9 an hour. Like, I'm always making $9 an hour.
That's great.
So this idea that that the movie theater like pays you shit and then won't let you take tips It's just insulting. And then they charge like 5 times the amount for their popcorn because they're not allowed to take the money that goes towards tickets. Like brand new movies, they don't get that money for 2 weeks. We not only need to fix our democracy, we need to fix the fucking movie system. Like, first of all, we're wasting money on Michael Bay shit.
One quick question.
I think, like, if Michael Bay makes another movie, he should just give all of his money to shitty-ass theater employees.
Right. One quick question. Do you think movie theaters will go away with the digital streaming era?
No, because they're keeping up. So, like, they're doing the Movie Pass starting soon. Fridley Theaters is not doing that, but, like, Cinemark and stuff like that, they're keeping up. They've created recliners with big aisleways, so it's like watching a movie at home, but you get that big screen and that loud experience, and you get to be the first to watch it. You still get to watch it beforehand. You know, like Netflix and stuff, that's great, except for, I'll tell you, I'm going to see Black Panther for sure. However, I'm not going to, I didn't watch the brand new Netflix Bright or whatever right away.
Somebody was talking about Black Panther. It was like a commercial or something in Black Panther, and I can't remember who I was with, but it was one of my more conservative family members. And they're like, "What's this Black Panther bullshit?" And I was like, "It's a movie, not a movement."
It's a movie.
They were thinking it was.
Like the Black Panthers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And they were like,
"It's interesting. There is a little bit of flavor from that put into there, but not a lot." I mean, the thing that makes me laugh about that movie is the fact that everyone's like, it's the most diverse movie ever. And it's like, you're confusing diversity with adding like a new... I'm like, it's not diverse. I said that you get like 2 white guys and a bunch of like African-American people, right? Mm-hmm. That's not diversity. Diversity is if there was some African-American people, some Hispanic people, some white people, some, some Asian people. That's diversity.
Right.
2 white guys and a whole bunch of black people is not diversity. I'm sorry. That's not diversity. But it is a very progressive film. They're very smart. It's cool. They hired the guy who wrote and directed Creed, who happens to be African American. They hired a very good African American cast. Some, like, the white people in the movie are very good actors. Andy Serkis, Martin Freeman. Like, this is a top-notch film. The reviews are coming in and they're saying it's a good movie and it's a different kind of experience. So I'm excited. However, it's not the most diverse movie you've ever seen. That's like you're misrepresenting what you're trying to say.
Right.
Which is funny. And that's what ticks people off. That's why politically people get so angry, but I don't know. Well, okay, so I got to head to work here soon. So we're going to wrap up. This was a very successful stream. We did not, the thing didn't break. I think we just, I've got to figure out volume, which I wonder if it's boosting, because I think this is my main microphone and that's my secondary in the computer. So I probably just have to boost the audio on that one a little bit. So I'll futz with that, but I think we're in a bearable state, to where we can keep things happening, but I'm super excited for where we're at right now.
Yeah. This is I think this was one of our more timely ones too.
Yeah. Well, and it was very cathartic too. Yeah. Very good cathartic cast. So we're gonna try to get together next week. Just know that, so we do apologize for it being a month, but we got lives going on. So I am super excited that we were able to kind of get together, and then we got these 2 microphones going. So, and now that when I hear the audio, I'm not like. So we're gonna try and shoot for Friday. Darian has a little bit more of an open what?
So Papa D.
Yeah, Papa D. Big D, Delicious D. Yeah, that's you on Twitter, Delicious D. I keep seeing that. I'm like, fuck. But we're gonna try and shoot for next week. Darian's got a little bit more of an open schedule, I think, when it comes to sleeping. So we should be able to.
Not working anymore.
Yeah. We should be able to open up some more stuff, but we're gonna take off. But thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.